Welcome to Before the Bat, the Gotham podcast, your source for the TV show Gotham and all things Batman. I'm your co-host Phil Parrish, and with me as always is Kelly.
Hey!
And good news, bad news. The bad news is Tyler could not join us tonight, but the good news is we have a very capable fill-in in Mr. Rob Southgate.
We'll see if I'm capable. Phil, I love how you say Gotham.
Gotham?
Gotham. I
Sounds
love
like
it.
Schwarzenegger.
Oh, it's the greatest. Every time I edit this, I just sit there and go, say it again, Phil. Gotham.
Gotham.
Like, it's great. East Coast.
I feel paranoid now.
No, it's great, man.
It is.
You know, we laugh about that around here because, we're all Chicago. And we don't think we have accents. And then every once in a while, somebody will be like, yeah, they're like, okay, Chicago. We're like, oh, crap.
Yeah, you travel anywhere, everyone has a certain accent.
That's right.
Yeah,
So let's talk some Gotham.
Yeah, so Rob, since we haven't spoke with you on the show before, what have you thought about the season so far?
Okay, actually, let me give you a little setup. For those that don't know, when they're like, oh, we've got a special guest. Actually, I do the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast on our network, Southgate Media Group. And I am more of a Marvel guy, although I was just on we had a new podcast this week called Super Connectivity, which is all about Marvel. And I'm not plugging it, I swear. And I revealed on there, now this is like the Uber Marvel show, that I actually am both. I like both quite a bit. I'm not one of these people that's diehard either way. If I go DC, it is really Batman. So this show, when you ask how I like this show, unless it's a Joel Schumacher Batman, I love it. That's the only thing I can't get through. I might make fun of, nice to meet you, but the rest of it is just god awful.
Oh, I'm the biggest Batman fan, and I can't watch those Joel Schumacher movies. I won't even have them in my home.
And I got into a little thing with Lilith, who I'm sure has been mentioned on this show before. She's diehard DC, and we were talking about the Superman movies, and I started making fun because after 2, 3 is pretty bad. 4, boy, and she defended 4, and I'm like, okay, you're just rah rah for DC. You think I'm rah rah for Marvel, but I can admit when it's not working.
She either gets all fired up or she gets that sigh in her voice and goes, I know.
Yeah. Well, she didn't do it with Superman 4. I thought for sure she would. I've never broached the Schumacher Batman. She's got to have I know, when it comes to that. So what have I thought? I thought it's been great.
Any characters that you really like that stuck out? Or
Well, I think it's going to be the same for everybody. I think that the Penguin is just fantastic. Unexpectedly fantastic. That's one of those characters that in the books you always liked, but did you ever think of him? Did you ever think he'd be the must-watch character on a show?
No.
And is he?
Did you ever think they could cast somebody?
As well as they've cast this guy?
Yes.
No. He's amazing. Although Danny DeVito was a hell of a Penguin.
Yeah, but I think this is like a more realistic take on it.
Yeah, I don't know how they did this, but it's amazing. And I actually love Selena Kyle too.
Oh yeah.
I think they've got the right mix there. I'm sorry, Kelly, you keep starting to talk. I think we've got it. Well, I think we've got a little delay because every time I start to talk and then you start to talk, I'm like, oh God, I cut her off again. But I think we're just delayed, so I'll try to shut up a little bit.
We definitely have a lag.
Yeah.
I love Selena too. She's been one of the highlights of the show for me. And I love how, these side characters that we've not really explored, at least movie-wise so much, are becoming such a staple.
Yeah. Well, I you know what, to me, I think this is the thing that excites me the most about this show is, number one, the way they've introduced the villains, how they're younger. It's not really, like, they're not in the full-blown villain costume and all that yet. And I love that all this groundwork is being laid. And I'm looking at the preview that's coming up, and the fact that Zaz is going to be on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And it, I know there was we all thought it was going to be Professor Pig, and then it turned out not to be. But guess who's going to be here at some point? Professor Pig.
Oh yeah, I think they are talking about Scarecrow and
Yeah, well, yeah. In the one preview, there was a preview I think 2 weeks ago where it was like the season preview, and there was a moment of Scarecrow. There was definitely like a big chunk of Zaz in there. Ooh, that was a bad pun. Yuck. But there was enough. Now, the characters like Victor Freeze, we'll probably see him, but we're never going to see him in his Iceman outfit, his Mr. Freeze outfit. I didn't mean Iceman that way. I was trying to think of what you would call his suit. I called it Iceman, but his Victor Freeze, his cryo suit. See, that's why I don't do a Marvel or a DC podcast.
I work in a safety industry. Hey.
There you go.
But yeah, then they also they cast Harvey Dent, so eventually we could get Two-Face.
Yeah, I saw that this week. And now, I don't think we're going to get Two-Face, to tell you the truth.
I don't know, because in their comic books, the way he becomes Two-Face is he's in court and he gets acid thrown in his face by Sal Maroni, who was on...
Who we had this week.
Uh-huh.
Who I was totally excited by because it was Angel from Dexter. I mean, did you guys... Was he on in previous weeks? Because I didn't catch him.
I can't... I know they mentioned him.
But they didn't show him, right?
I can't remember if he was in last week or not, but...
Man, if he was, I completely missed it, because when he showed up this week, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Angel. Oh, this is awesome. And then when I heard who he was, because I didn't even realize who he was, and then I'm like, oh, what a great job casting this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a good surprise. And yes, he does turn him into Two-Face. But see, here's the question, and you guys might be more in tune with this. And this is something I've seen on the internet. This series is going to be about Gordon. And we're not going to get to Batman in this. This is not the point of the show, correct?
Yeah, from what I've heard, I think they're going to do like the Smallville formula where maybe in the last episode we see him as Batman.
Okay.
Because I don't know if I've heard rumors, I don't know if they're going to do time jumps every so often, maybe between seasons.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Are we going to have some type of time jump?
That was the rumor. I don't know if it's ever been confirmed or not.
What do you think,
who knows
Kelly?
if they know?
Yeah,
at
true.
this point.
Well, you know what? I always... actually, I believe they do. And I'll tell you why I have this thought. I heard an interview. I've talked about this on other podcasts. I heard an interview with the guy that wrote the book that the show, was it not Flashpoint? Flash Forward was based on. Okay? And now this was the writer of the book. This was not one of the show guys. And they asked him, they said, your book is a contained story. In fact, the first season is basically your book. What happens? And he said that the way that the studios work now is they want a complete first season. This is the outline for the first season. This is what we're doing. So when they order their scripts, they order 13 or 22 episodes, right?
Okay.
But they expect a 5-year Bible for the show. A show like this would have a 5-year Bible. Does that mean it's set in stone? Well, no, because certain characters, if Urkel suddenly becomes the main character, that's going to happen.
But look at Arrow.
Right.
Felicity was only supposed to be on for 3 episodes.
Right. But that show, I would imagine, has a Bible to it, which this is the arc to the show. This is what the show does over 5 years. So when you said they don't know what they're, if they're going to get to that point, I bet they do. And I bet they're very strict about it.
Yeah, I'm sure they have a plan. I mean, okay, let's take, for example, Arrow. They had a 5-year Bible, but it got rewritten as soon as Felicity came on because the fan base just went gaga.
Well,
Yeah,
after season 1, too.
Do you think it got rewritten, or do you think that they changed the focus of it, but the actual, like, what happens to Arrow over 5 years, do you think that changed?
Oh yeah, I think they had to change that
Okay.
because of, well, I know they have general, I mean they have a general direction that things were happening and things were going to go. Do I think that had to be altered? Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
For the Felicity story to work. But I mean, when I've seen Emily Benedictcon, she was like, I was only slated for 3 episodes. She kept grooming dogs until episode 9 because I'm not kidding, because she didn't know how this thing was going to go.
Right.
She thought, a couple episodes and it's a great gig. And now she's, one of the main 3 characters in the show.
Okay, you guys are going to make
So,
fun of me. I don't watch Arrow. I've only seen. I just started a couple weeks ago. I'm 6 episodes in. So,
oh wow.
What, the first season?
yeah, is Felicity the blonde?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
the IT girl. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I
You,
thought
you're
that
waiting
watching
for
it.
Oliver to get out of the island still.
Probably.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
yeah.
he's killing people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the second season he gets more hero-y. We see more. It gets closer to the comic book, and
Yeah.
Oh, good, because I that's another one. My 2 favorite characters from DC when I was a kid, Batman, clearly, and Green Arrow. I always loved the
Yep.
Green Arrow stories.
Yep.
I had, Superman, Green Lantern. I had all these guys. I even had Aquaman, which back then, Aquaman was a total joke. Now, comics are pretty sweet.
don't say
Right.
that in front of Lilith.
Well, no, she knows they were a joke back then.
Yeah.
He was a mishandled character.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
But now, they handle him very well. And, Green Arrow was, when I saw they were doing Arrow, I was super excited. The problem was I was finishing 2 Degrees when that show started.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have time to watch TV. And then as soon as I finished 2 Degrees, Martha and I, my wife Martha and I, decided to start a podcasting network and suddenly have 40 different shows on our network. So, catching up with TV shows is a little tough unless it's something that we have a show about. So now we have a
Yeah.
show that's talking about Arrow. I started watching Arrow.
Yeah, season 1 is good, but just hang on and then watch season 2. Like I said,
Yeah.
season 2 is a lot closer to the comic book. I think it's a lot better. They figured out where they were going more.
Cool. Oh, I'm excited. Okay, are we talking Gotham or what?
We totally are.
All
But
right.
you see what I'm saying? I mean, you could make changes. I mean, I'm sure they know where they're generally going and the plot lines, but do they know for sure whether they're going to put a time jump in there or not to accomplish those timelines?
Well, yeah, I mean, if there's
Maybe,
enough
maybe
fan
not.
demand, maybe they will just start making it a Batman show at some point. But I doubt it. I think this is going to be
Yeah.
Commissioner Gordon's
Well, I mean,
story.
they probably have storylines, but not necessarily whether there'll be a jump in there to accomplish that timeline
Sure.
and that story.
Well, and it could be that they at some point focus it on Batman, but I doubt it. I don't think this is a Batman show. I think it's a Gordon show.
Well, I know originally, I think the original plan was they were just going to do a Gordon show, and they weren't even going to have Bruce Wayne at all in it.
Ooh, that'd be a mistake.
Yeah,
I think
totally.
they realized that.
Okay, you asked me who my favorite characters were. Can I tell you who I don't like?
Yeah.
Do you guys have one you don't like, or are you just loving everything?
Yes.
Barbara Gordon.
Really?
You know what? She is great eye candy. So she is a great part to watch of the show with the sound off. But when the sound is on, I don't care. And that little bit this week with her and the cop and
Montoya.
you know what? I don't care. The only thing I liked was at the end when Penguin showed up, and I thought, ooh, he might kill her. I mean, that was literally it. I don't care.
That's awesome.
Well, they haven't really done much with her. She hasn't left the apartment in 3 episodes.
Yeah, she's not going to. If we get my way, she's not going to ever. I don't
She
like
ordered
the character.
sushi and she's dead.
Yeah, I think the actress is beautiful. I think she's doing a good job with it. It's not. I'm not criticizing her when I say watch her with the sound off. I think that they're not writing anything for this character.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she hasn't. She really has. Like I said, she really hasn't done much. She hasn't left the apartment yet.
But is she going to?
I don't know, because in the comic books, that is his first wife. So eventually, they are going to get married. I would assume.
Yeah, I actually thought they were married already until this episode. I realized, oh no, that's just his girlfriend.
Yeah, I think it might be his fiance. I think.
Fiance.
Yeah. So yeah. Other than that, I mean, there are no characters that I feel strongly about negatively. How about you guys?
Uh-oh,
Uh-oh.
go ahead, Kelly.
Do it, Kelly.
I'm not a big Fish Mooney fan.
Okay. Fair enough.
I just not. It's just a little over the top for me. I mean, she has some fun dialogue and some, a few fun scenes, but I just don't get it.
She's
Just-
she is really the most comic booky
Yes.
character there. And when I say that, I don't mean it because I'm a huge comics fan. And I don't find comic booky to be an insult because, like, you read The Preacher. Oh, yeah, that is not comic booky, but it's a comic book. But
Right.
she's kind of that, like, 70s
She's
Batman.
Yeah, she's a caricature.
Yeah, the characters in the 70s Batman, it was when they were caught between, the 60s Batman, which was all camp, and then, like, they didn't quite know what to do with these guys.
Yeah.
So she would be
Right.
kind of this is the gangster woman character, and it just I'm with you. I don't dislike her as much as I dislike Barbara, but she's all right. She's all right.
I'm just kind of
I don't think she's
ambivalent
making it to
about
season 2 though.
no. I think she's going to be gone. She's going to be bumped off this season. We've had that discussion.
Yeah, if not before, by the season finale, I think she's in the river.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You think he'll put her in the river? I don't know if she'll make it that far.
Yeah, I think Penguin's taking care of her in a big bad way.
Yeah, he'll kill
Mm-hmm.
her, throw her in the river, and be like, "Let's see you survive it," or something, and toss
Right.
her. in.
Shark Tank, something
Yeah.
fun.
So yeah, not my favorite, but I don't feel strongly with that one. How about you, Phil?
I would have to say I'd probably agree with you. Probably Barbara, just because they really haven't done much with her. She just, like you said, it's just eye candy. It's somebody
Yeah.
for Gordon to talk to when he gets home.
Yeah, and I don't even need that.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Gordon is a great character, and I think that they're doing a beautiful job with him. And his home life, yeah, I get that. Like, you want to write the home life in and you want to ground a character, but it's not grounding him because there's nothing there. He goes home, she's walking around without pants on, and that's about it.
Orders takeout. Yeah,
Orders
exactly.
takeout, and then she's not even home like cooking or anything. And then when he interacts with her, it's always kind of like he can't just tell her what his life is like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I'm not even getting that satisfaction. Like if this was his one place he could, the city is a rotten hole, but he can't even do that.
And Montoya is constantly trying to poison her against him,
Yeah.
which makes his home
Yeah.
life even worse.
Yuck. So,
At least we know why she's doing it now.
now, one thing I noticed in this episode that I didn't notice on first viewing, because I watched it twice, I did not notice that Balloonman was the same guy that gave him the slip of paper. It was like the point of the episode.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. So when he had that slip of paper and he's like, I gave him that slip of paper, the first time watching, I'm going, what is, like, it made no sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know if they made that too clear because I did watch that twice, but the first
Yeah.
time around I watched it with my wife and she didn't get that either at first. So,
But I have to say, when you watch it the second time, it's awesome.
Mhm.
And I think the only thing they could have done to fix that was maybe like a tiny clip of a flashback where you just see him do it. And you know how they do that so that you see like Gordon's thought process. When he sees the slip of paper, you see
Yeah.
him do it rather than him just going, I know who did it. That would have solidified it, because when I watched it back and saw it, I was like, that's awesome. I totally didn't catch that. And
Okay,
he was not Professor Pig.
No.
No. I gotta say, the thought of handcuffing somebody to a weather balloon and just sending him soaring into the sky is just so beautiful.
Well, you know what? That's what this
Wonderfully
episode was.
twisted.
This
Yeah.
episode was giving us that vigilantes are here now.
Wonderfully twisted.
Yeah. And see, I think that's what makes the show so great, because it's like, on paper, if that you take that idea and do it wrong, it could be, it can go really wrong. It can seem
Right.
kind of corny, but with this show, they pulled it off.
I think they did. And here's another funny thing about this particular episode. I was live tweeting during it, right?
Mm.
And maybe that was why I didn't catch that. But I actually thought it was the weakest of the 3 episodes watching it the first time. And part of it was the Balloonman thing didn't capture me. I thought it was a cool visual, but didn't capture me. Second viewing, I absolutely loved the episode. And I would not say there has been a weak episode now that I've watched it twice.
I've seen a lot of people kind of have that opinion that, oh, this one was really, really weak. But I didn't. I thought, no,
Yeah.
And I'm with you. I mean, it was the same thing for me. I didn't catch that right away either. So I think, in a way, maybe the writers were being a little too slick, and maybe they should have made that a little bit more prominent, because I think they would have more people would have caught on.
Would have been a little more impactful, because I'm telling you, not knowing it, I just kind of went like, okay, yeah, he had an interaction with this guy. It seemed like, like 80s TV, when you'd watch A-Team, it would always be like, wait a minute, I know who that is. And like there was always some convenient thing like that.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah. But now that I saw this, I'm like, oh, that wasn't that same kind of weird convenient thing. This was actually well played.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got an internet one for you guys.
All right.
And this was all over Twitter, and then I saw it written up. People are saying that the Balloonman was an Easter egg because his name was Lamond, and that the cop was Cranston, and they're like, it was the Shadow. He had the thing around his face. That wasn't the Shadow. First of all, it's Lamont Cranston.
Yeah.
Second of all, the scarf thing. I mean, yeah, it reminded me of the Shadow, but that was clearly not the little inkling of the Shadow. Not like the other characters where you go, oh, that's Penguin, that's Selena Kyle, that's that wasn't the Shadow.
Right.
But I'll tell you what it did do. It made me really wish they would do the Shadow, and even more that the Question would show up.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, would that be
today?
Awesome?
Yeah, that they should have some kind of masked vigilante. But that female cop, Renee Montoya.
Yeah,
she becomes the second Question.
Oh, she does.
Yes, after the
she
first
does.
one dies.
I remember that. Oh, that would make a lot of sense, man.
Yeah, because they had her. There was a picture of her on Twitter a couple of days ago. She was wearing the hat, and she was like, "Does anyone have a question?"
Oh no! You know what? They really need to have the Question show up now that the vigilantes are showing up in town. Let that be, because I loved that comic, and always thought it fit so well in this universe. And watching this, seeing that Shadow illusion made me think of the Question. I thought, that would be such a great fit. And now that you've said that she's the second Question, I forgot that. That would be really strong, because you could take that vigilante, kill him off by the end of the first season, second season, and then a season later have her come back as him. That's strong stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah, that would be a great visual too. Just someone walking around with no face.
Oh, that's why I love the comic so much. It was awesome.
But I think the funniest point I was cracking up this episode when Gordon and Bullock go to question that guy, and I don't know was that his girlfriend?
Which guy?
I guess the one who they the guy who sold the balloons to the balloon man.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, and was that his girlfriend standing there, the big black woman, and she's just like tossing Bullock around the apartment. Until Gordon gets his gun on her, and then Bullock decks her.
That was really great. Okay, now this brings up another point that I thought of when I was watching this one, and Phil, since you're more the comic book guy, you may have some insight here. Is she somebody? Because with everything that's happening, I keep looking for where are the characters? Who are the people that turn into somebody? I'm doing the same thing with Marvel. With Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm looking at it going, this character has these attributes, even though they're not that character yet. And that's what's happening here. Is there a character like her that you can think of?
Off the top of my head, no. Nobody's coming to mind.
Okay, because she was awesome, that she was this giant woman throwing him around. And I asked you this earlier in the week. The guy that owned the balloon company, you can't, second viewing again, you cannot tell me that he is not going to turn into a supervillain.
Yeah, I mean, he could, but nobody springs to mind from the actual comic books because even Tyler was saying he didn't think.
So even though I sent you a picture of what was it, Toymaker, that looked exactly like him.
Oh yeah, Toyman, yeah.
Looked exactly like him.
Let's go see. Maybe he owns Acme.
Yeah, I don't think the names matched up, but I mean, it could be a character like that.
Do they need to match up? I don't think they do.
No, or I was going to say, I wonder if
Or he
for
could
Gotham,
change his name.
he could. I wonder if they're going to even create some original characters for this show.
They could. But
I
this
mean,
guy, he owns a thing. You know, maybe he's the guy that maybe the Joker works for him. You know, and eventually that's how that happens. And that was another thing.
There's whoopee cushions.
When they said that people were saying, "Oh, did you hear the laugh when the guy was running down the street?" That was the Joker. It wasn't that guy laughing. It was Cranston was like screaming, and the laugh. It sounded like a laugh when he was going up.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't a Joker reference there.
Yeah, don't get started on the Joker. Every week, it's all over social media. Was that the Joker? Was that the Joker? Was that the Joker?
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see the Joker for a while.
No.
I think that they will seed us. There will be a character that is the Joker that we don't know about. And then a season down or whatever, we'll go, oh my God, he was right there.
It's going to be a finale cliffhanger or something.
Yes.
You know, we're going to get knocked upside the head.
Like 3 seasons down the line, we'll find out it was like Fish Mooney's boyfriend or something.
Yeah, right. Is Cardinal Quinn, is that Harley Quinn's father or grandfather?
I don't think they've really ever gone into Harley's family. I mean, it could be.
I just thought it was interesting. His name was Quinn, and there's this,
yeah, but I
thing
mean,
with kids and
she takes the name Harley Quinn, but her real actual name is like Harleen Quinzel or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was one I had to ask.
Anybody else see anything? The sword fight between Alfred and Bruce.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that was great. How much are you
Need
loving
more.
Alfred?
Oh yeah, he's great.
Love him. He's one of my favorites too.
Son of a Doctor Who. Gotta love that. Anyone connected to the Doctor, I'm all in, and that's the son of a doctor.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's cool, and I totally buy him, and I do think they're going with the Alfred Pennywise that has MI6 training in that. I think that's going to come out with this guy.
Yeah, because they're probably going to have him do a lot of Bruce's training instead of Bruce traveling abroad and stuff.
Yeah,
that's what we're hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you think they're going to solve the Wayne murder in this season? Do you think or they're going to do like a Laura Palmer with it and let it float?
I don't know. They might let it go for a while, maybe.
Because they're bringing it up a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, right now, the trail's going to be hot. I mean, it's been relatively recent. As time goes on, you'll probably hear less and less. And how committed is Gordon going to be to keeping his promise? And, I think they could explore that. Yeah. And make that a really interesting, an interesting side story of Gordon's, his inner struggle with feeling this responsibility to Bruce to solve this. But it's getting cold.
Yeah.
And reliable witnesses aren't to be found, and the evidence gets cold. It's going to be harder and harder. And what he can do, and whether he's going to have to resort to less than copacetic means to coerce some information, or how he's going to be able to do this. I think that's going to be part of his struggle and his story. And I hope they let it go for a while. Because that would be interesting, and his interactions with Bruce and talking with Bruce about, hey, I'm doing these things, and Bruce is keeping this file on his parents' murder and trying to solve it, and maybe the two of them will work together at some point.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Do you think they could get away with Gordon never solving the murder, and then maybe in the last episode that when Bruce becomes Batman, he's it's him. Part of it is him.
No.
Him saying, if Gordon can't do it, I'll have to look into this?
No. Gordon has to solve it, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
If he solves it, and it takes a while, but he doesn't give up on it, and he eventually solves it, that is how he earns Bruce's respect.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't solve it, by the time he's Batman, what use does he have for Gordon other than as a tool? And we know that is not the relationship.
Yeah, that's true.
So Gordon has to be the one to solve it, and it has to be because of his tenacity. He's fighting against Bullock. He's fighting against the whole system. People are telling him to give up, and I think that you're right, Kelly. I think it's going to go for a while, but I think it's the kind of thing that, we may go a couple episodes without hearing about it, and then we'll have one where he'll say, I am not giving up on this.
Yeah.
This is where I want you to know. And I think that's what's going to draw him and Bruce closer together.
Yeah.
And I think Bruce seeing him struggle with this is going to make him a better person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's really struggling right now.
Well, he's seeing vigilantes, and this was the first time where he saw one. He's like, we don't kill people, right? And that was important. And I think that the influence of Gordon is what's going to really emphasize that you don't have to shoot the Penguin.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you can make it look like you did.
Yeah.
If
you
gotta.
can use
theatrics.
Which is what Batman does.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So, Rob, I have a question for you.
Sure.
When do you think this is set?
Well, what do you mean? Like what year?
What time period do you think this is set in? Because certain architecture and office supplies and things may look one vintage and other things will look another.
Computers, automobiles, they all look maybe 10 to 20 years older than present day, maybe.
Yeah, you know what? It's a really solid question. I've been under the assumption that this was in the 90s because I'm not seeing cell phones and things.
Mm-hmm. But the clubs and the office furniture and the vintage of the precinct reminds me of the 40s.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that's Gotham. I think Gotham has that. I think that like if you watch like cop shows from New York, you'll see they're in old buildings sometimes.
Right.
And they might have older things hanging around mixed in with newer things. I think that the more telltale stuff is the technology like cell phones.
Yeah, that too. And did you see the guy with the big blue mohawk? That reminded me of 80s.
Yeah, but that was 90s also.
That's true.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to keep it timeless, so you can't pin it down on the one specific time.
Yeah. Now, if we see the Goldbergs show up in an episode, there's a crossover, then we'll know it was sometime in the 80s.
Oh, my.
Murray walks by, no pants.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Then Barbara goes past, no pants.
No pants. Well, they're in the no pants club.
That's it.
Frankly, I like Murray more than I like Barbara. Sorry to tell you. Although I'm going to say Murray is not eye candy. You got to watch him with the sound on.
Well, did anyone have any other thoughts on this episode?
I don't. I mean, I thought it was really great. I really appreciate you guys having me on this. I think this has been fun because, I spend a couple of days a week talking all Marvel stuff, and to be able to talk about DC a little bit and talk about Gotham has been a lot of fun. I'm sorry, Gotham. I've really enjoyed the show. I enjoy your show. It's been awesome.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yay. Yeah.
Any final thoughts from you, Kelly?
I'm excited for more Gotham. I'm really curious to see where they're going to take this because we're seeing just how bad Gotham is, and you know.
That's what I want to talk about. Well, you just said it. We didn't talk about the first absolutely amazing minute of this episode.
Yes.
When Penguin gets out of the car, You see hookers. You see the cop pocket money. The way he pocketed the
Drug
money was
deal.
awesome. The drug deal. You see the kid. And how about the kid is in like a skeleton mask and steals, which once again, could that be somebody eventually? Are we going to have some kid stealing in a mask? And you go, oh, wait a minute. That was that kid in that episode. I'm telling you, that minute. And then Penguin goes, oh, it's good to be home. That was so great. That was actually like a highlight of the series so far. We're 3 episodes in, and I'm like, oh, that was the moment. I loved it.
And did you see? People were talking on social media. I think that every time Penguin kills, there's like food involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fish usually.
Yeah, lots of fish.
I guess leading to his weight problem later down the road.
Right. I love the thing with the shoes too. When he the guy's like, you don't even have the right shoes. Then he looks down at the guy's shoes. Next
what size
scene,
do you wear?
Yeah, what size do you wear? That's so funny. So do I. Like, oh, that's not going to go well. Man, he's ruthless. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And,
he's so unassuming.
Yeah, and I think that I remember in the older comics, we're talking when I was a kid, so like 70s.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't. Penguin was not my guy, and I liked him on the TV show, the old Batman 66. Penguin was awesome, but then they didn't know what to do with him. And then I remember like reading what is it, Arkham Asylum? Do you remember that graphic?
Yeah.
And like everything went darker, and that really got me. And I loved, Dark Knight Returns and everything.
Oh yeah.
And then when they started to change him, and he became Mayor Cobblepot and all that stuff, I really enjoyed that. And I liked the Tim Burton take on him. And I think that character has evolved to this point, and they really, I mean, it took that long to workshop the character to get him right, but man, this is it. He should be psychotic, while at the same time being this like driven businessman.
Yeah, when you get away from like portraying him as a clown and like all the trick umbrellas, and you start getting into that criminal mastermind, that's when it starts getting good.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're seeing.
He looks like the kid that gets beat up every day and gets off the school bus.
Right.
And that's what's so wonderful about him, because you don't expect him to stab you in the gut.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
You don't expect him to fillet you.
Oh, well played. Well played.
Thank you. Yeah, it makes me like not want to go to McDonald's and get the fillet of fish anytime soon, let me tell you.
I can tell you 50 reasons I don't want to go to McDonald's and get a fillet of fish.
Yeah.
First of all, there's no fish in it. Second
right.
of all, so I gave my stuff. I'm done unless you guys have anything more. I don't know.
I'm good. What about you, Kelly?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good. I think we covered most of it.
Okay.
Awesome.
Oh, before I get to the social media, thank you, Rob, for filling in. And
it was truly my pleasure. You guys are awesome, and this was a lot of fun.
Anytime.
We like fun.
And I miss having Tyler here. I'll have to do another one when Tyler's on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess I'll get to the social media.
Right.
Our email is beforethebat@gmail.com. On Facebook, we're Before the Bat, the Gotham podcast.
Gotham.
Twitter is @BeforeTheBatPod. Instagram, BeforeTheBat_/ArrowPod. And Tumblr is BeforeTheBat-/ArrowPod. And as always, remember to go to www.southgatemediagroup.com.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of redesign on the website too. So if you go to the Before the Bat page, we have put on Phil's blog for Batfan and Batfan Cave, and we also have put on one called Dave's Utility Belt, which is about Batman toys, which is awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah. So those are on there. There's a lot of redesign stuff. So please go to the website and check things out. And you can also write to us. Did you give an email address?
Yes.
Yeah, the beforethebat@gmail.com.
Okay, you can also write if you want to reach me or reach Martha people can write directly to us at southgatemediagroup@gmail.com. Let me give a couple of things here. We tweet out when we live tweet. If we're not tweeting the show ourselves, like this week, I didn't do Before the Bat. I think Tyler did, but I was going to tweet from Before the Bat. But when I didn't, I tweeted from @SMGPods, or I tweet from @RSouthgate. So those are the ones. If you want to see what we're live tweeting, go to either @RSouthgate or @SMGPods, and we're always live tweeting something.
Also, don't forget, find us on iTunes.
Yes.
And download and review, please.
Rate and review.
Yes, that really helps. Oh, you know what? Let's. This is the first show we're making this announcement. We have a provider page on iTunes now.
Woohoo!
So if you go to iTunes, go to the search bar, type in Southgate Media Group, or go to Before the Bat. If you click on our name under provider, it will take you to our provider page. It's got like a cool banner now and like top rated episodes, and it's really cool. We're just really proud to have this. Thank you, iTunes. And
Yay!
definitely check that out. We're also on Stitcher and TuneIn Radio and Podomatic, and man, we're like on everything. Oh, and SoundCloud. I put all the episodes on SoundCloud where you can also download them.
That's fantastic.
Cool.
And we got to give a shout out too to the iTunes Podcasts Twitter account.
Yes. Yeah, they
us.
tweeted that out about us. That was pretty cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah. So,
kudos to them.
Yes. Thank you, iTunes. You rock.
Quite literally.
All right. So I am done with all my business and plugs. See what happens when you get the business guy on? We get the boring ending on it.
Oh, no. Well, and you got to follow us individually on Twitter too, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I am at Super Squint. That's SUPERSQUINT.
I'm at Nightwing PDP.
I already gave mine.
Yeah.
I think I overgave mine. And hey, Super Squint, we have a new Bones podcast that just debuted this week. Yes, it's called King of the Lab. So if you're a Bones fan, check that one out. And that's Nick and Cassie are doing that. They're a couple that does a Bones podcast. It's fun. And then we also debuted two new Flash podcasts this week. One is called Fast Talkers with Scott and Jeff, and they're the guys that do our Disturbed podcast, which is our top-rated podcast, believe it or not. For those of you that don't watch American Horror Story, I'm sure you go, I don't believe it. But for those that do, wow, that's an awesome podcast for an awesome show. And they also do Comrades, which is the Americans podcast. Well, now they're doing Fast Talkers. And then the other one, we've got like 40 things going on with you, Phil. You're on Flashpoint, the Flash podcast, and the Flash Arrow Power Hour, right?
Yes.
So lots of things to check out. Rate us, review us. It helps. All right, I'm done with all the business.
All right. I guess all we have left to say is
Same bad time, same bad channel.
Same bad podcast.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.